German Ambassador to India Walter Lindner, Your Excellency, you have seen the situation in the Ukraine. The Germans have been trying very hard, along with the French, to find a solution.
Yeah, you see, I think the discussions in Brussels, in Munich, at the Munich Security Conference, in the United Nations, and in some other fora around the world, have made it pretty clear that this is a very dangerous situation. President Putin's announcement of unilateral recognition of the two so-called People's Republics, have really, they are really an open breach of international law. They are also violating the territorial sovereignty of Ukraine, and also the sovereignty and borders are in question. So this is all a very difficult situation, not only because it's a legal issue, but it's also an issue of principle. If we allow and accept that a breach of contracts of international law, that sovereignty can violate it, if we allow this, then today it's one country, the next day it's another country. I think we should really all profit from the fact that there's an international rule-based society and we can rely on it. Also, it is pretty hard blow against the peace negotiations and the peace endeavors which we did for the last years. And you were mentioning France and Germany. We were in a so-called Normandy format, which is a format of Germany, France, US and Russia and the Ukraine. So we were discussing since 5, 6, 7 years peace settlements, ceasefires, other things, and also in the OECD context, negotiating. With Putin's decision, this is all off the table, and that's a real bad news.
Yes, you were saying that your Chancellor, along with the French President, has been very active. He was in Moscow not that long ago. So it's all gone down the drain, you feel?
Well, we all have to be optimists because everything is better than a war. But as I said, the principle of territorial integrity, sovereignty, have to be upheld. Otherwise, it's a snowball system, a snowball game, and we have a less safe world. So peaceful settlement of conflicts are still the solution, but the ball is not in our field. It was not us, it was the Russian president who made this speech and made this announcement of unilateral violating the sovereignty of an UN member state. So this is clear, and we have said this is a red line. It is clear that this can't be accepted, and it will have consequences, and the consequences will be sanctions, and they have been decided yesterday as an initial packet of sanctions, but there will be more. But as he said, we have been very active in trying all the channels, peace channels, discussion channels, even in the Munich conference, and now in Paris and in Brussels. But I think it is a moment where we have also to have some consequences, and the consequences are financial and economic sanctions, which will be visible for the Russian president. It was not our choice. He left us no other choice.
And the pipeline is off. That's been made very clear.
We have made it very clear in the last days that in case Russia would transpass red lines, we would have a package of sanctions on the table. And we didn't say what is all is on the table. People were speculating, would it also be the Nord Stream 2? And yesterday our Chancellor made it clear that the Nord Stream 2 pipeline is frozen, and it will not be continued as long as the situation continues like this.
Well, the Russians feel that Europe has betrayed them, that Russians waited for a solution to this Ukrainian problem for 7 years, and then nothing happened. There was no forward movement.
Well, that's their narrative. We have another narrative, which is we have since 7 years worked on a peaceful solution of a dispute, and Russia, through an increase of a massive accumulation of soldiers, 100,000 or 150,000 around Ukraine, has created these tensions. And with this narrative, I mean, I don't know who believes that it was our fault. I think it's clearly visible. You have an inexplicable, unnecessary amount of soldiers around an independent country, and then you declare the singular independence of these so-called republics. I mean, it's up to everyone to decide which narrative is the real one.
Finally, have you been in touch with your friends in India about the situation in the Ukraine? Because India continues to have very good ties with both the West and Russia.
Of course, we are in constant contact with our Indian friends, of course, and we understand everyone lives in a different surrounding with different neighbors and different strategic challenges. So it's not on my side to recommend one position or the other position. I'm just saying, if we don't have a reaction to a breach of an international contract and to a breach of violation of sovereignty, then we will in the end all suffer, be it people in the closest neighborhood of the Ukraine or other countries which are far away, because in the end we all lose, because an international rule-based society and international community is what we need in all aspects.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Lindner.